The air crackled with anticipation. Not just any boxing match, this was before a Muhammad Ali fight. The big arena buzzed, even for the early bouts. It was like a giant party getting started, with everyone excited for the main event. But before the legendary Ali danced into the ring, smaller matches took center stage. Rows and rows of seats stretched up to the ceiling, filled with people munching on popcorn and waving small American flags. The lights were so bright they made your eyes squint. Even though it wasn't Ali yet, the crowd was ready for action. Every punch, every dodge, every little victory earned cheers and shouts. You could feel the energy in the building, a mix of excitement and anticipation. The undercard fighters, though less famous, were just as hungry to impress. They knew this was their chance to shine, a spotlight before the world's eyes. In one of those early matches stood a young man named Michael. He wasn't famous like Ali, not yet anyway. Michael dreamed of hearing the roar of the crowd for him, of holding up the champion's belt high above his head. He'd spent countless hours training, his muscles aching, sweat stinging his eyes, all for this moment. He bounced on his toes in his corner, gloves laced tight, heart hammering against his ribs like a trapped bird. He pictured his family in the stands, their faces filled with pride. He wanted to make them proud, to show them that all the sacrifices they made for him were worth it. He closed his eyes for a second, picturing the belt, feeling its weight in his hands. This was his chance. This was his dream. He opened his eyes, took a deep breath, and nodded at his coach. He was ready. Or so he thought. The bell rang, a sharp, loud sound that cut through the air. Michael charged forward, full of energy, ready to unleash all his training. But his opponent was faster, stronger than he expected. A jab snapped his head back. He tried to block, but another punch landed hard on his cheek. He stumbled, his legs suddenly feeling like jelly. The crowd's cheers turned into a blurry roar. He could hear his coach yelling something, but the words were lost in the noise. He swung wildly, trying to connect, but he just couldn't seem to find his target. Then, a crushing blow to his stomach sent him reeling. He went down, hard. The referee started counting. 1, 2, 3. Michael struggled to get up, his body screaming in pain. He managed to stand, but his legs were wobbly. The referee took one look at him and stopped the fight. The first round was over, and Michael had lost. He felt a hot tear roll down his face, a mixture of pain and disappointment. It was over. Back in his corner, Michael slumped onto the stool, his head in his hands. He felt the shame burning in his chest. His dream, the one he'd worked so hard for, seemed to be slipping away. His coach was trying to talk to him, but Michael couldn't hear the words, only the buzzing in his ears. He wanted to disappear, to crawl into a hole and never come out. "I can't," he mumbled, his voice thick with tears. "I can't do this." He wanted to quit, to tell the referee he was done. He imagined walking out of the arena, away from the disappointed faces, away from the pain. The towel lay nearby, a symbol of surrender. He reached for it, his fingers trembling. This was it. He was about to give up. All the training, all the dreams, all for nothing. He was a failure. Or so he felt in that moment of despair. Backstage, in a room filled with the murmur of voices and the clatter of equipment, Muhammad Ali watched the monitor. He saw Michael's defeat, the young fighter's slumped shoulders, the tears in his eyes. Ali knew that feeling. He'd faced tough times in the ring, moments where doubt crept in. He understood the weight of a dream slipping away. He could have been focusing on his own upcoming fight, preparing his mind and body for the challenge ahead. But Ali was different. He cared about every fighter, no matter how small or unknown. He believed in giving back, in offering a helping hand to those who needed it. He saw the potential in Michael, the fire that hadn't been completely extinguished. He turned to his own team and said, his voice calm but firm, "I need to talk to that young man." He started walking towards Michael's corner, a legend answering the silent plea of a broken dream. A hush fell over the arena as Ali moved. People stopped what they were doing, pointing and whispering. Is that? It's Ali! It was unheard of. Muhammad Ali, the greatest boxer in the world, stepping into the corner of a nobody fighter during an undercard match? This just didn't happen. Michael, lost in his despair, didn't even notice at first. His coach, however, was stunned. He stammered, unsure of what to do as Ali approached. The crowd's murmur grew louder, a wave of confused excitement washing over the arena. Ali squeezed through the ropes, his presence filling the small space. He moved with a grace that seemed to defy his size. He knelt down, placing himself at Michael's level. The world seemed to hold its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. The air crackled with anticipation, even more than before. This was a moment no one would ever forget. Ali looked Michael directly in the eye, his gaze gentle but firm. Michael finally looked up, startled to see the legendary boxer kneeling before him. "Hey, young brother," Ali said, his voice soft. "I saw what happened in there." Michael looked down, ashamed. "I messed up," he mumbled. Ali shook his head. "That first round? It was tough, sure. But it doesn't mean you're finished. Don't ever let the first round write your story." He paused, letting the words sink in. "It means one bad thing that happens doesn't have to decide everything. You can still choose what happens next. You gotta believe in yourself, even when it's hard. Even when you feel like giving up." Ali smiled. "You got more rounds to fight. Show 'em what you're made of. Show yourself what you're made of." He winked. "Now go on out there and dance." Michael stared at Ali, his eyes wide. Ali's words echoed in his mind, a lifeline in the sea of his despair. He looked at the towel, then back at Ali. A new feeling began to bubble up inside him, not confidence, not yet, but something like determination. He wasn't sure he could win, but he knew he couldn't quit. Not after this. Not after Ali believed in him. He took a deep breath, the air filling his lungs with a newfound resolve. He stood up straighter, his shoulders squared. He looked at his coach and nodded. "I'm ready," he said, his voice stronger this time. He stepped towards the ropes, a different fighter than the one who had stumbled back to the corner just moments before. He still felt the pain, the exhaustion, but something else was there too, a spark of hope, ignited by the words of a legend. He was going back in. He was going to fight. The bell rang again, and Michael stepped back into the ring. He was still tired, still sore, but this time, something was different. He moved more cautiously, remembering Ali's words. He dodged punches, blocked blows, and even landed a few of his own. He didn't win those rounds. His opponent was still too strong, too experienced. But Michael didn't give up. He fought with every ounce of strength he had left. He danced, just like Ali had told him to, moving around the ring, trying to avoid the worst of the attacks. He stumbled, he fell, but he always got back up. He kept fighting, round after round, his determination growing with each passing minute. The crowd, sensing his resilience, began to cheer him on, their voices growing louder with each passing round. They were no longer just waiting for Ali, they were cheering for Michael. They were cheering for his heart. When the final bell rang, signaling the end of the fight, Michael knew he had lost. But as he stood there, bruised and exhausted, something amazing happened. The crowd rose to their feet, clapping and cheering. Not polite applause, but a thunderous ovation that shook the arena. They were cheering for his courage, for his refusal to give up, for the heart he had shown in the face of defeat. Michael looked around, stunned. He hadn't won, but he had earned something even better, the respect of the crowd. A smile spread across his face, a genuine smile that reached his eyes. He might have lost the fight, but he had won something far more important. He had won back his pride. He had proven to himself that he could overcome adversity, that he could keep fighting even when things got tough. And that, he realized, was a victory in itself. Ali, watching from backstage, smiled. He knew. That night changed Michael's life. He kept boxing, training harder than ever before. Ali's words became his motto, a constant reminder that one setback didn't have to define him. He learned from his mistakes, improved his skills, and grew stronger, both physically and mentally. He fought in more matches, winning some, losing some, but always learning. He never forgot the lesson Ali had taught him. Years later, Michael became a local champion, a respected and admired figure in his community. He wasn't as famous as Ali, but he had achieved his own kind of greatness. And he knew that he owed it all to that one moment, that one act of kindness from a legend who had taken the time to believe in him. Ali's advice had given him the strength to persevere and achieve his dreams. Even after all those years, Michael never forgot Ali's kindness. He often told the story to young fighters he mentored, sharing the lesson he had learned that day. He would show them the old photo he kept, a faded picture of himself and Ali in the corner of the ring, a reminder of the day his life changed forever. "Don't ever let the first round write your story," he'd say, his voice filled with emotion. "Those words saved me. They gave me the courage to keep going when I wanted to quit." He was eternally grateful for Ali's belief in him, for the simple act of kindness that had made all the difference. He knew that without Ali's encouragement, he would never have achieved his dreams. He would have remained a defeated young man, haunted by the memory of that disastrous first round. But Ali had shown him that even in defeat, there was hope. And so, the story of Michael serves as a powerful reminder: never give up on your dreams, even when things get tough. Life will throw punches, knock you down, and leave you feeling defeated. But one setback, one bad round, one moment of failure doesn't have to define your future. Believe in yourself, even when no one else does. Find the strength to get back up, to keep fighting, to keep dancing. Remember that even in defeat, there is always hope. And who knows, maybe one day, someone will see your potential and offer you the words of encouragement you need to achieve your own kind of greatness. Just like Muhammad Ali did for Michael, you too can change someone's life with a simple act of kindness and belief. So, go out there and write your own story, a story of resilience, determination, and unwavering hope.